Okay, the name of this story is Sonic and the Harvey Girls. This is a short crossover story I decided to do between Sonic the Hedgehog and Harvey Girls Forever. In case you don't know, Harvey Girls Forever is a Netflix original series that I think is really, really underrated. The three main characters from that show are three little girls named Audrey, Dot, and Lotta. From the first time I saw these characters, I absolutely fell in love with them. I thought they were absolutely adorable. I must have written close to 100 different stories with these characters. But more recently, I decided it would be a good idea to have them meet Sonic and Tails. By the way, just for the heck of it, I'm going to add a little something extra to the end of this story. You'll find out what it is soon. Anyway, here we go. The Harvey girls were in desperate need of help. The Blookie boys were messing with them again, and this time they'd taken over their trailer. Audrey, Dot, and Lotta had to call for help. It was the only idea they could think of doing. "Help! Help!" they called, as loudly as they could. Who was going to save them in their time of need? Miraculously, their call for help was answered. A very fast, blue-colored hedgehog was running through the forest alongside his friend, a flying yellow fox with two tails. The two of them heard the unfamiliar calls for help and rushed towards where it was coming from. Once they'd gotten there, they saw them. Three naughty boys laughing at three helpless girls. The hedgehog and fox looked at each other, then nodded over what they were going to do. The fox attacked first, sneaking up to the boys from behind before spinning his tails rapidly. This knocked the boys off their feet, catching them a bit off guard. Then the hedgehog jumped, turning into a ball as he did, and then he flung himself at each of the boys. First Melvin, then Fredo, and finally Pink Eye. It didn't hurt them that much, but it was enough to send each of them flying a few inches backward before they'd landed. As the boys picked themselves up, Melvin rubbed his head, then looked at the blue hedgehog in shock. But before he could say anything, the hedgehog got down, turned into a ball again, and began to charge something up. Melvin gasped in shock, then turned around before trying to run away. It was too late, however. The hedgehog let go, pushing himself back under the boys and knocking them a greater distance backward. Once they landed, they quickly ran away, hastening up the ladder and disappearing into their treehouse. The hedgehog nodded to himself in satisfaction, then gave the fox a high five. As they did, Audrey, Dot, and Lotta approached them, each having a grateful expression on their faces, and the hedgehog and fox turned around to look at them.
"Oh, thank you so much! Thank you!"
said Lotta. "Excellent work, you two. You have my thanks," Dot said. "That was so awesome! Thank you so much!" Audrey said. "You saved our lives!" "Don't mention it, girls," the hedgehog replied. "No problem," the fox said in agreement. "By the way, I don't think we've met. I'm Tails." "Well, it's very nice to meet you, Tails," said Dot. "I'm Dot."
"And my name is Lotta,"
Lotta replied, before adding,
would it be weird if I said you look cute?"
Tails blushed a bit as she asked that, but didn't find it weird at all. "And my name's Audrey," replied Audrey. "We're the Harvey girls, and we live here on Harvey Street. You know, where kids rule and every day feels like a Saturday." "That's cool. My name's Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog," replied the hedgehog. That being said, Audrey's eyes widened as soon as he told her his name. She'd seen him before in a few video games that she'd played, by herself or with her friends. To think it took her this long to recognize him. "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!" Audrey said to herself. Knowing that she was getting excited, Lotta placed her hand on Audrey's shoulder to try and calm her down. She then looked back at Sonic with a bit of a sheepish look.
"She always gets excited when she meets her favorite characters,"
Lotta said.
"And so do I, actually."
Sonic chuckled. "Doesn't surprise me. Anyway, we're glad you're all okay," said Tails. "Those boys must have given you a pretty hard time, huh?" "Indeed they have," Dot said with a nod. "Is there anything we, the Harvey girls, can do to repay you for helping us?" "Thanks, but that's all right," Sonic replied. "Saving the day is what Tails and I do best." "But if you like, we can visit this place every now and then when we're not busy," Tails suggested. "Really? For real? Yes, please do that!" Audrey cried, almost without realizing. You don't know how awesome it'd be if you started visiting us. I think that's enough, Audrey, Dot said, bringing up her hand as she said that. Audrey was still a bit excited over the idea of having her favorite video game character as her new friend, but she obeyed and tried to calm herself down. After a bit of chatting, it was time for Sonic and Tails to leave. They bid their farewells before Sonic dashed out of Harvey Street, with Tails following him as he spun both of his tails and took to the air. As they did, Audrey, Dot, and Lotta waved goodbye to them. They'd given their two new friends their phone numbers, and they'd received theirs in return, so that they could keep in touch and get to know each other even when the Hedgehog and Fox weren't here. Now that they knew a bit about them, the Harvey girls, especially Audrey, had a feeling they were in for something that would be way past cool. Unexpectedly, a tickle found its way into Sonic's nose, and he had to skid to a stop. Once he had stopped, he lowered his eyelids and tilted his neck back a couple of times, before throwing his upper body forward with a sneeze that caused both of his feet to leave the ground for a second. Achoo! Once the sneeze had passed, Sonic sulked a bit as he rubbed his nose with his index finger. "Bless you, Sonic," Tails said. "Thanks." Sonic sniffled as he continued to rub his nose. "Are you all right? It seems like that came out of nowhere," Tails mentioned, a bit concerned. "Yeah, but I'm fine," Sonic replied. "But is it just me, or was somebody talking about me just now?" I hope I didn't accidentally make Sonic sneeze by saying way past cool. But in case I did, Sonic, I owe you an apology. And also, bless you. The end.